Hello and welcome back to In a Nutshell. It's been another crazy week as Bitcoin is getting very, very close to breaking that $100,000 mark. Okay, let's get into the news from this week. Let's start here. Let's go with the quote. We'll just do the quote anyway. Keep on going, and the chances are that you will stumble on something, perhaps when you are least expecting it. I never heard of anyone ever stumbling on something sitting down. Take what you will from that. Here's the big story. Mining in the Himalayas. Now, this was really cool. How good is this picture, actually? Can we just emphasize that? But the top story is Bhutan is currently generating between 55 and 75 Bitcoin every week. And it is mining with hydropower. And this is hydropower that it wasn't monetizing before. So it's using stranded energy. And they have this week, why it's in the news is because they sold 365 Bitcoin, which is about $33.5 million. But they've been mining for so long that they've got 1.1 billion worth of Bitcoin still, and they've done this through mining. Insane, incredible story, and forward thinking by Bhutan. Next, we've got Bitkey. They just released a Bitkey inheritance feature, and it's really cool because they say that Bitcoin is a multi-generational asset, and they think that Bitkey should be a multi-generational tool too. So this was really cool because, as a lot of you know, I'm a big fan of Bitkey and what they're building. I've followed them from inception all the way to where they are now. Big fans, and keep an eye on the podcast because we might have something coming on there. Next up, this chart shows the Bitcoin wallets and at what price they've been holding from and how much is in the wallet. So I put this in because it was done by Jurian Timmer, who is actually the director of global macro at Fidelity Investments. I followed him for a long time. He puts out some amazing charts and data, which I really enjoy, and I think this one's very relatable. He put this out because it shows the distribution of Bitcoin wallets by value they hold. That's a lot better explanation than I did at the start. But he comments on how remarkably committed the OGs have been to holding or hodling, despite 3 really harsh winters and massive profits or potential to take profits. And wallets holding 10 million or more account for over half of all wallets. Now that is dedication. Really cool. I've just thrown that in there. Next, because Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy seem to be everywhere, I just kind of condensed it into one section because there's so much to talk about on this, and I don't want it to overtake the videos, and I don't want it to overpower the newsletter. So what happened this week in the land of MicroStrategy and Saylor was Natalie Brunel sits down with Saylor for a 1.5 hour interview. Really worth watching. I'd recommend doing that. Saylor is to present a 3-minute presentation to the Microsoft Board of Directors. This is huge. Please keep an eye on this, or I will keep you informed through this video and the newsletter. Next, MicroStrategy raise another 3 billion more. So they did, I think it was 2.4. I think I might be a bit wrong on that. They came out with, and then they upped it because of demand. And also this week, MicroStrategy makes their biggest Bitcoin purchase, which was worth 4.6 billion. Huge. This is huge news. And we're seeing so many people follow suit. So many companies now are announcing Bitcoin on their treasury. I'm not going to add every company that does it into these videos, but it is a domino effect like we talked about last week. Next, if you have not watched the podcast, this podcast by the Bitcoin Collective, me, please go and watch it. These videos are popping off, and it's been incredible having these conversations. We've got so many more lined up. The dominoes are falling with Richard Byworth was insane, incredible I learned so much. And likewise with Daniel Batten, I learned so much from this one, and I hope that everyone else does too. Next is Quickfire, because there's so many things. Quickfire through these. There's 10 of them. The US Senator Cynthia Lummis outlines the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Plan. Now, you can click on this and it has the plan written out really nicely. Fuck it. Here you go. Here it is. So you can look through this. I'll put the link to where you can find this below. Really nicely. It's not too complex, or not as complex as you'd think. Huge news is Gary Gensler will resign as SEC chair on January 20th, 2025. Since I have put this newsletter out a couple hours ago, the commissioner is also resigning. This is huge news because the SEC acted as a big blocker for the Bitcoin ETFs coming through. And lots of people said that they were unfavorable to Bitcoin and it was unfair. So this is huge. The Gary Gensler is moving on. Who's coming in? We don't know yet. The UK is falling behind wherever you look. Freddie New outlines, just click on it. Freddie New outlines it really well why the UK is falling behind. Next, we've got Bitcoin miners, Marathon, they used to be called, just raised $1 billion. They're taking to buy more Bitcoin. They're taking a leaf out of Michael Saylor MicroStrategy's book. They're one of the dominoes after them. Satoshi filmmaker stands by claim that Peter Todd created Bitcoin. If you read the newsletter a couple of weeks ago, or if you read in the news, HBO put out a documentary about who is Satoshi. They claimed it was Peter Todd. And the filmmaker is standing by this, even though Peter Todd says it's not him, and many in the community say it's not him. Number 6, pro-Bitcoin Howard Lutnick, don't know if I'm saying that right, we're rolling with it, was appointed US Secretary of Commerce. What does this mean? There is an article there that outlines exactly what this means because he is very, very, very pro-Bitcoin. Number 7, BlackRock went on the news this week and said Bitcoin is not a risk-on asset, meaning that it's not risky. That's just simple terms. Number 8, why everyone should own some Bitcoin. The risk of not owning is too great. This was Dominic Frisby, a video that he done for Money Week, 5 minutes. Really recommend watching this. It's Dominic Frisby. He articulates the message very well as per usual. Number 9, a Chinese court says that Bitcoin and crypto are property, so holding them is legal. This is huge. Very different narrative to what we saw a couple of years ago where China were trying to ban Bitcoin mining and Bitcoin. Things are shifting very, very fast. You have to stay awake. Number 10 is Europe's second largest insurance company, Avians, I think I'm saying that right, purchased nearly 25% of MicroStrategy. Doesn't sound right. Let me just double check that. Allianz. They have bought 25%. That has honestly been crazy week. I really enjoyed putting this all together. I hope everyone is staying up to date with everything that's happening. I hope this really helps. So please subscribe to the channel, go and watch our podcasts, and go and check out the newsletter. If there's something in there that you think you want to go deeper in, just click the link. I put it in there. Awesome. Have a great weekend. Catch you guys next week.